Welcome back to the kickoff. Manchester United have gone out of the Europa League quarter-final stage. Say what you want about the Glazers. They've given us some of the best days of our lives. But before today, I've always kept a fairly open mind on Ten Hag. But Manchester United fans did seem to be very much of the opinion that this guy is the man to take us to the promised land in the next few years. And yesterday sort of confirmed for me that the jury is still out on Ten Hag. Now, don't get me wrong, before Man United fans go down my throat in the comments, please hear us out, because I know I'm biased and all of that, but actually I'm going to be genuine here. He's got more praise than any other manager outside of Mikel Arteta this season, and I just don't think it's warranted yet. I feel like Man United fans are suffering a bit from that thing where like a girlfriend who wasn't taken out by their last boyfriend and he made no effort whatsoever, so just by like taking her out and doing the bare minimum, they love you. Ten Hag is almost a golden boy just for not being Rangnick and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But the mad thing is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got them to a Europa League final. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer finished in the top four, and yet we all agreed he was not good enough. They finished sixth last season in what was a terrible season, underperforming, so those players were already well capable of getting top four, especially in a season where Chelsea and Liverpool have completely bottled it. So then you bring in Ten Hag, you're like, okay, we can make top four with him. You then add £220 million worth of footballers into that squad. Okay, top four should be guaranteed. So what is success on top of that? Well, not going out at the Europa League quarterfinals to Sevilla, who are 13th in La Liga. Now, I'm not saying Ten Hag is shit and that he's never going to be a good manager, yada, yada, yada. I'm just saying there's a lot to unpack here before people anoint this guy as the next Pep Guardiola. Man United have done reasonably well to get top four as expected. They've won the Caravan Cup. Even Newcastle fans weren't that bothered about losing it. All right, I was gutted. I'll be real. Now, I see Manchester United fans often, because they want Ten Hag to be the saviour, when it goes right, oh, Ten Hag, tactical genius, absolute genius. When it goes wrong, it's the players. Damn, it's the Glazers. They needed to buy more players. You telling me that this man has not got enough talent to beat the 13th place team in La Liga? Don't talk shit, man. I'm not saying it's all Ten Hag's fault before everyone jumps down my throat. I'm just saying you can't praise the guy when things go well and then completely exonerate him of any blame when things don't go well. It's childish and it shows that you're just not thinking straight. I know some people are going to go, oh, it's individual errors. Right, okay. De Gea was dumb to play it to Maguire. Maguire was dumb to ask for it. They were both at fault for that. The reality is, why are you playing it out from the back with De Gea and Maguire? The manager's fucking told them to do this. They're not just making this shit up, you know. Man United have lost some games this season, which isn't a crime, but it's how you lose. They've been battered at times. Conceded 6 to Man City. Conceded 7 to Liverpool. When they came to Newcastle recently, if we'd even had half of the normal shooting accuracy that we do in a game, we'd have put 5 past them quite comfortably. I watched the Nottingham Forest game. To be fair, on attack, you've seen Bruno Fernandes and Anthony looking good, but when they were giving that ball away so carelessly, time after time, if they weren't playing one of the worst teams in the league, it would have been at least a draw. They are so open. They give the ball away so carelessly. You can't continue to just act like Ten Hag has nothing to do with all of this. In the first leg against Sevilla, you're on top, you're at 2-0. All you got to do is kill the game, one more goal, the tie's over. At that point, he takes off Bruno, Sancho, Martial and Anthony. He's then got Pellistri, Weghorst and Alanga. That is the time you kill the game, and it ends up 2-2. Of course, 2 freak own goals, okay, that happens sometimes. But the bottom line is, he invited that pressure on. His decisions directly contributed to them throwing that away. And Man United are way better at home than they are away, and this was a chance to really end the tie. That is just bad game management, man. I think the reality is Manchester United have been quite lucky this season. You know, Marcus Rashford has been in the form of his life. And if he continues that, fair enough, but the likelihood is it probably won't. A goal in every other game, it's been tremendous from him. And they've heavily relied on that. If you look at some other teams up there, take Newcastle, for example, I think we've got like 3 players who are on roughly 10 goals each this season. Man United, it's 15 for Rashford and like 5 for the next guy. He has carried them. And I'm looking back to games like Wolves away where they were horrendous. And if it wasn't for that one bit of brilliance from him, they'd have been fucked. And look, if my auntie had bollocks, she'd be my uncle. But the point is if you look at their away struggles, Marcus Rashford's goal contributions are such a an indicator of why that is. 12 goals he scored at home, only 3 away. They are so fortunate that this guy has been in form this season, because they may not even be in the top 4 if it wasn't the case. A lot of people will say, oh, well, we've got Weghorst. You know, what do you want from us? Well, that was a choice. Everyone said how well Ten Hag handled the Ronaldo situation, which I think at the time he did. But the reality was, if you'd known that Weghorst was the one coming in afterwards, would you have backed that whole move? Because if you've got Cristiano Ronaldo there who can contribute goals to this team, clearly, you may make it to the final of a European Cup competition. You may win that. I mean, let's be real. There's not a player in European football history who was more guaranteed to score goals than Cristiano Ronaldo. Clutch player. So in retrospect, yes, he handled Ronaldo well. Ronaldo was a difficult character. But for Weghorst, and look, they've won a cup, okay? I get that that's a huge thing. Who do you play? Villa at home under Steven Gerrard? Burnley? Was it Charlton and Forest? It was hardly the fucking hardest road to a cup final ever. And then you beat a notoriously terrible cup final side in Newcastle. Let's just calm the fuck down. And look, I'm not saying Ten Hag is trash and isn't able to go on and become a good manager for Manchester United. But there are clearly things that need addressed. Like your motivational skills, bro. That's a concern. The amount of times where in big games, Manchester United have flopped. And it isn't all about, oh, this player was injured, that player was injured. You had a very good team out against Liverpool. Didn't turn up. Multiple big games, you didn't turn up. Newcastle, for all we haven't got the same level of squad, we've had one game this season where I'd say we completely flopped and didn't turn up. One. Man United, it's over 5 easily. Complete no-shows from top players. One of the main things the manager is there to do is make sure that the lads are at it, firing. And that's been a real problem. And I think next season, Man United fans need to be a bit more objective in the way they're approaching him and stop thinking, thank God he's not Ollie, thank God he's not Ranić, and just judge him on what you're saying, because to me, it's been decent. It's been okay. It's been solid. But the jury is still out. And Man United next season need to show they are on the up with him, and that it isn't just a simple case of we bought better players, we're getting better results. We need to see more of an impact from Ten Hag in game management, in man motivation. Otherwise, more questions need to be asked. I hope you just appreciate that. I'm trying to be level-headed. Yes, I have a bit of fun with this, but I'm trying not to be a dick just because it's Man United. And these are my true opinions. I'm certainly not saying the guy's bad. I'm yet to be fully convinced, and we'll see what happens in the future with him. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I will check them. I will be watching. Don't do the usual, right? Abuse and all of that rubbish. Give me some constructive shit that I can listen to. If you do, I will hit a like. Thanks for everyone who supports the kickoff. We have a big show planned this coming week. We're going to be live. We got a table debate show for the Manchester City Arsenal game. Huge, huge, huge. So do check us out on Twitch live for that match. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.